5 minutes.
Your awareness may be powerful enough to control your instincts. Your instinct will be to remove your hand from the box.
It's your girl Meesh, and welcome to another episode of the LUV MEESH Podcast. Hey loves, and welcome to another episode of LUV MEESH Podcast. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Garden of Eden. I'm just playing. Since my mom has started her garden, I have found the garden to be just so therapeutic. It's completely different from just sitting in the yard, because I can do that too, or sitting at the beach. You're actually surrounded by life, like those little plants and flowers. They have life, and you see all types of animal interaction, birds and squirrels and lizards and flies and ants. You just kind of realize you're a part of the whole ecosystem. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's very therapeutic for me. The best part, of course, is the sun. I done got a tan out this world. I can just sit in the sun for hours and hours and hours. And the feeling that I have when the sun hits me is just unexplainable. But before we get started on today's episode, we got to go over the list. So for this particular podcast, the podcast link is going to be my Pinterest healing garden. All the articles and memes that I go over can be found on my Pinterest list. So that's that. The business reco for this particular podcast will be the Urban Forestry Program at the city of Jacksonville. This is the city where I live. The website is www.coj.net/trees. Now, I didn't know about this program. My mom did. They gave her trees. She was out of town, and she just kept reminding me and my sister, don't forget to go get my trees. Don't forget to go get my trees. She was just so excited about the trees. And when we got there, she had her truck. I had my mom's. No. How did we do that? I think it was 2 trucks. I know I didn't drive my mom's truck because her truck is too big. I think my sister my sister must have had my mom's truck and I had her truck. Yeah, that's how that worked out. Because my mom's truck is so big, I cannot drive that thing. But my sister's truck, if I do need to get a family thing, I can. My sister's car is cool. I can handle that. It is definitely bigger than a car, but my mom just has a mega truck. And things follow me up. But when I got there, we went downtown by the stadium, and they had little pine cones up. They had their little assembly lines. And they're like, what are you here for? And we were like, trees. And they're like, okay, it's 3 each. You just, drive that way, and they'll put the trees in the car for you. I kid you not, I get there, and this woman was so freaking excited. She must have been the owner. She was like, give her 2 more. Now, we don't supposed to get 3. She's like, give her 2 more. And let's take a picture for Instagram. It was just so amazing. She was so excited about giving away trees. And that's when I realized, we all have different roles here. The excitement that she had about trees is the excitement that some people have about kids, is the excitement that some people have about health. And the list goes on. But staying with the topic of gardening, she was just so excited about giving away those trees because she knew that those trees would be planted. They would grow for years and years and generations. And she's helping Mother Earth. And, this is just me. That's something to be proud. We'll be proud of a whole bunch of BS. That is something to be proud of. As many trees. Do you realize we cut down trees? This is how retarded we are, in all honesty. We cut down trees to make a dresser. We cut down trees to make a box. We cut down trees to make paper. We cut down trees to make a paper bag. Over breathing? I'm so over. I am so over planet Earth. Please. I'm so over it here. It's just simpletons. Whoever I'm just over it. A dresser, a tree, paper, like none of that is more important than breathing. It's like somebody really fucked up. We need to go back and fix this shit, or it's too late. And you know what's so funny? Like, we be laughing at little children stuff like Dr. Seuss, but he has a show or a movie called Little Rocks. It was no freaking trees. Hello. They was even selling freaking air. And he went out and found a damn tree and brought it back, and everybody was so fucking excited. Is this the future that we're headed to? You know what I mean? Like, and Dr. Seuss was ahead of his time, okay? But so yeah, I don't know if they do it year round, if it's just a one-time thing, but you can check out the website, the Urban Forestry Program at City of Jacksonville. Put a tree in your backyard. Hell, pick it up and plant it somewhere. I don't want to throw my seeds away anymore, so I love avocados and I feel bad throwing them away. So I just gave like 5 of them to my grandma. I was like, okay, grandma, you got to water them and let them grow. But the next ones that I get, I'm like, go to the park and like put them in the ground where they don't actually cut it. Because I do know they manicure some areas, but I'm going to like put it in the wild areas so it can grow and feed the animals and stuff like that. Like, why is it not gardens everywhere? Like, I don't know. This really was supposed to be the Garden of Eden, and I don't know what has happened. So yeah, check out that site, and let's see. Video, movie, TV reco for this particular episode will be Skinny Boy Randy's show, Gardening for Beginners. I watched him with my mom a few times. He's very educational. He's very funny. It's a family thing. One episode, I even saw him get out there with the kids. And you don't just wake up one day and want to like start a garden or grow. Like, there's resources. There's YouTube. There's books. Like, we're all helping each other thrive, right? So his was pretty interesting. And like, I really feel like they're going to start charging for YouTube soon. I think this will be the last year that a lot of stuff is free. YouTube has been, trying to get us signed up forever. And I just feel like there was a certain time period where they couldn't do that. But that time is approaching where they're going to charge. Like, all of this information is free. It's going to be a stop to it. You're going to have to pay. I'm talking about library card, YouTube, everything. You're going to have to pay for knowledge. It's coming. So while it's free, go ahead and get your learn on. So the next reco would be the podcast reco, would be Oprah Super Soul with Dr. Dean and Ann Ornish. And they're actually talking about how doctors or society will tell us that we need to have this pill or that pill forever to be okay, when it's really just simple things. Like, he explained how he wanted to end his life, surprisingly, at an Ivy League school, and he came back home and his sister was on a retreat and they were having like a dinner to honor this guy for like helping her or whatever. And he really inspired him to change, like meditate, change your diet. There's peace all around you. And, he was like, I couldn't sit down and meditate, but I walked and meditate. And eventually he found peace and, he was able to overcome wanting to end his life. And he was about to like fail and drop out of school, but he ended up being valedictorian. Like, really? All because what? We're not eating the right way. We're consumed with all of this stuff that's unhealthy, really just unimportant, unhealthy stuff. It's really just so simple. So simplicity is the way to be. So Oprah be having some amazing guests on there. Like, this Super Soul Sunday to me is better than her actual show. Like, maybe because it's my topic, I take that back. I'm into esoteric, spiritual stuff, so yeah, I gravitate to the show a little bit more. But I love how she's like the Tyler Perry of the esoteric world. Like, she's inviting, or the Ellen DeGeneres of the spiritual world. Like, that's really all they are. Like, or the P. Diddy of the music industry, or the Kirk Franklin of the Christian choir. You have that one person that be on everybody's stuff, giving their little tad bits, when the other person is really the star, like the hype man. I don't know what you call it, but anyways. So I love that show, and I still haven't forgot. I'm going to do a whole bunch of clips of her asking questions, and I'm going to give my answers, and it's going to be Oprah Super Soul Sunday with LUV MEESH. And I was trying to think of what my name is going to be like. LUV MEESH. I'm going to change all of the E's to 3s because that's my life path number. And what else I was going to do? Oh, Empress keeps coming to me, so I'm going to add Empress and Fairy. So maybe LUV MEESH Empress Fairy. Like, I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, check out that podcast. I think it's pretty cool, and I think you'll love all the other podcasts, especially if you're into esoteric topics. So the Reiki healing prayer reco for this podcast would be Mother Earth, from the land to the trees to the chemtrails in the sky to the pollution in the ocean to the endangerment of the animals to the endangerment of ourselves. How idiotic is that? You're not just killing everything around you, you're killing yourself, idiot. It's just like so asinine. But I do pray. Like today when I was sun gazing, I was sending love and healing energy to Mother Earth. I was telling her to pull through, that we apologize for all the danger and harm that we're causing, and we appreciate all that she's doing for us, and to just keep going, don't give up. Like, Mother Earth is a being as well. So the music record for this podcast would be Michael Jackson, The Earth Song. Oh my gosh, every time I hear that song, I just want to cry. So yeah, Michael Jackson was on it. What about us? That's what everything else is screaming at the humans. The trees, what about us? The flowers, what about us? The animals, what about us? The air, what about us? Like, everything is living. Everything has an atom. Atom is energy. There's nothing in existence that doesn't have energy, which means if God is the creator of all energy and no energy would exist without all, then that means God is in all things too. Ha! Isn't that amazing? So check out that song. It's probably been a while since you heard it. If you're sensitive like me, it's going to make you cry. And the spiritual teacher, mentor, guide, reco for this particular podcast would be Yahid Awaken. He reminds me of the younger Dr. Sebi. Like, he's really passionate about educating the community and helping them heal and cure diseases. Like, this brother is putting his life, like I always commend, when you go up against big pharma and the CIA and the government, and they will set you up, make it look like suicidal, because, you know, you're helping people do something that they don't want them to do. You're taking away their customers, right? So when they put their neck out on the lines like that, like, I just send prayers up to them and protection to them, because, you know, the enemy's watching and basically their days are numbered. So they are there to save lives, but in the end, their life is going to end up being cut short, and we'll just have their legacy that lives on. I hate to say it, but if you look up a lot of holistic healers, they end up like dying of an illness. How you around here healing everybody and died of an illness? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So to me, that screams government, that screams big pharma, that screams BS, and I just don't believe it. But check him out. You know, he sells herbs and bitters and teas. If you check out his YouTube, he does educational, hour-long videos. Like, he really cares about his community. Like, you can feel the passion, like it's there. And we should just catch these jewels while we can. Again, this information is not going to be flowing forever, y'all. So the book recos, not necessarily about gardening, but once you start your garden, you want to start adding some medicinal and herbal plants so that you can build your apothecary in your own home. Like, we all should have a herbal medicine cabinet in every woman's home. Like, you are the healer of your home. Like, we have such a heavy duty that we aren't doing. Like, they got us focused on other stuff, like our hair and our nails and our makeup and dancing and songs and, you know, all this unnecessary stuff. But you don't know how to heal your child, don't know how to heal your man, don't know how to heal yourself. It's a problem. So I don't know. I feel like if mother gives birth, then she should be able to prevent death, if you ask me. Naturally, you know, outside of man-made guns and bullets and comments and shit, but just natural ailments she should be able to heal. So natural remedy books would be Natural Cures for Dummies, Rosemary Gladstar's Medicinal Herbs, Encyclopedia of Herbal Medicine. My mom is like zooming through these books. I'm still on chakras and fertility land as far as my books are concerned, but I do have them in my library and I can't wait to read them and start making my own stuff. Like my mom is on the garden end of things. I'm actually going to buy the jars and start ordering herbs from Amazon and doing my teas. I think that's what my heart is going towards the teas, but I still love the garden. And let me see if there was anything else. So yeah, that was it. So let's get into today's episode. Nature. Always ask for permission. Before cutting a tree branch or taking a flower, let the spirit of the tree or plant know what you're going to do, so that it can draw its energy from that place and not feel the cut so strongly. When you go to nature and want to pick up a stone that was in the river, ask the guardian of the river if he allows you to carry out his sacred stones. If you have to climb a mountain or make a pilgrimage through the jungle, ask permission from the local spirits and guardians. It's very important that you communicate, even if you do not feel, hear, or see. Enter each place with respect. Since all nature hears you, sees you, and feels you, every movement you make in the microism has a great impact on the macroism. As you get closer to the vegetation, be grateful for the medicine it has for you. Honor life in its various forms and be aware that each being is fulfilling its purpose. Nothing was created to fill the gaps. We are all here remembering our mission, remembering who we are and waking up from the sacred dream of returning home. Horticultural therapy. 5 reasons playing in the dirt makes you happy. This is from YouShouldGrow.com. Depression is something that affects many people regardless of the age, ethnicity, genders, or social status. In some cases, it's something you are born with. In other cases, it develops over time. Regardless of where your depression comes from, it's natural and healthy to be looking for a way to relieve the symptoms and learn to live a happy, fulfilling life. This can be difficult when all you want to do is stay home in a dark room and wait for time to pass. If you are dealing with depression, your therapist can provide a variety of treatment options. There are antidepressant medications, cognitive behavioral therapy, and even becoming involved in certain activities. Many doctors and mental health professionals advise people who suffer from depression to take up a hobby. This won't cure your depression, but it often gives you something else to focus on during the darkest moments. It also gets you out of bed and out of the house in many cases. Gardening is one of the most popular activities for people with depression. It is good for depression for a number of reasons, from getting you outside to catch some vitamin D from the sun's UV rays, to having something you care for and watch thrive from your efforts. As someone who has struggled with depression since my teenage years, I can vouch for the effect gardening can have on your mental health. Tending to plants is not only a distraction from the negative thoughts, but simply spending time in my garden has an immediate calming effect on me. If you are someone that has feelings of hopelessness, loss of interest in normal activities, insomnia, irritability, and self-loathing, you might be suffering from depression. In this post, I'm going to outline how gardening can help you. Horticultural therapy and the mental health benefit of gardening. Let's first talk about why gardening therapy for depression works. And it's not just for depression. Gardening can help with other mental disorders like anxiety. When gardening is incorporated into a mental health plan, it is called horticultural therapy. Don't know what that means, so I definitely looked it up. Let me go to... So, of course, with the iPhone, you click on a word, it brings up you can say look up. It brought up Wikipedia. It says about horticulture is the art of cultivating plants in gardens to produce food, medical ingredients, or for comfort and ornamental purposes. Pause. Ornamental purposes. Now check this out. Ornamental meaning beautiful rather than useful. Beautiful rather than useful. So I guess we all know that plants provide food and, air and a whole bunch of stuff. So I didn't understand why they would put that it's not useful in there. But I guess they're trying to say some people have a garden even though they don't use any of things. It's just there like ornaments on a tree. I get it. Horticulturists are agriculturists who grow flowers, fruits, and nuts, vegetables, and herbs, as well as ornamental trees and lawns. The study and practice of horticulture has been traced back thousands of years. Horticulture contributed to the transition from nomadic human communities to sedentary or semi-sedentary horticulture communities. Let's go back to the article. Let's first talk about why gardening therapy for depression works. It's not just for depression. Gardening can help with mental disorders like anxiety. When gardening is incorporated into a mental health plan, it's called horticultural therapy. Therapists and gardeners report that you get an almost instant mood lift just from tending to your garden. Some specialists believe the benefits of gardening would apply when participating in an outdoor activity, while others believe it goes much deeper than that. Gardening uses multiple senses. Being outside in your garden is much more stimulating to your senses than staying holed up in your room. You hear the sounds of nature and the bees and the birds. You feel the seeds, the soil, the flowers, and the plants underneath your fingertips. You can smell many aromas of nature while you are gardening. This provides a lot of positive cognitive stimulation, which is known to be helpful with people who struggle with mental illness. Now pause. A thought just came to mind. If we look with our eyes and touch with our hands, taste with our mouth, and hear with our ears. Did I cover them all? Eyes, ears, mouth, touch, and smell with our nose. It's 5. I feel like this society is becoming robotic because we're not using our senses. And we are sentient beings. You see how those sentient senses? So looking at TV is what? Just using your eyes. You're not moving. You're not really using your senses. Oh my God. We're supposed to be feeding our senses. You're supposed to be feeding your ears different sounds, helping them grow and develop. Feeding your eyes. Feeding your nose. Oh my freaking God. If this is a school, the school of life, we shouldn't just know these normal smells and that's it. These normal sounds and that's it. These normal sights and that's it. We should be expanding those senses just like you expand your vocabulary, just like you expand everything else in life. Oh my God. Okay. A whole nother podcast. Thank you, Spirit. So, want to be honest, mental illness is the lack of using your sentient senses. Hello. And I want to throw in your brain, maybe another one, because some people learn, some people read, some people just crave knowledge like myself, and then others just want to be entertained. They just want to laugh, which is great, but don't forget to feed your mind. Like that has to grow and develop too. I hear you, Spirit. Okay. The satisfaction boosts your mood. You raise your endorphins. It boosts your self-esteem. I do know. Well, my plants are green and thriving. I'm so happy. One of them is not doing so well. She's brown and it's making me sad. So yeah, that whole plant mom, it's a thing. I have plants. I care for them. I'm their mother. Plant mommy. Okay. Gardening can balance out your serotonin and dopamine levels. Now, my mom's the best. Like, I don't remember last time I watered them. I do need to go outside and water them. Sometimes I'll sit with them and play music. I just like being in nature, but it is a job. Like, I'm literally at work for 8 hours, Me and my mom are doing the same thing for 8 hours. She's working in her garden and I'm working at my job. Like she literally tends to them. I remember from little seeds, like drying them out, putting them in the closet, putting them in little cups, putting little lights on them, putting heat by them, moving them to the what do you call that thing? What is it called? To the sunroom? I think it's called sunroom. It's something else, but it's like a little sunshed. And then actually putting them in their little beds. The whole yard, like I cannot wait. It's going to be a whole oasis. That's why I named this podcast The Garden of Eve. So I could definitely learn a little bit more about gardening, but right now I'm at putting them in the dirt and watching them grow and just but it's a lot more. Like, what does the pH level look like? My mom has a whole compost. Like, what thing about my mom? I think I go deep with esoteric, and she's going deep with her herbs and stuff. Cause she is nurturing my plants. When she out there tending to her, she's tending to mine. And in fact, I looked, and in each pot it's a stick. She's helping them stand up. Like, I didn't even know it needed a stick to balance. Like, I didn't know. It's just so interesting that, especially with my history, when I thought of the word mother, I thought it just only meant to a human child. But no, mother is what you were born as. It's the characteristics that you exude to everything that your hands touch, everything that's around you. She's mothered her kids to adulthood. Now she's mothering seeds that continue to grow. You know what I mean? It's like anything you touch, you can mother. It's not just to give birth. So again, that could be another podcast. Gardening can balance out your serotonin and dopamine levels. I can attest to that. Recent studies have suggested that exposure to certain bacteria in the soil, the Mycobacterium vaccae, can increase levels of serotonin, which is why this whole world, hand sanitizer, take a bath multiple times, Lysol, wear your mask. It's like life is yin and yang. As kids, we played in the dirt. We made mud pies. We ate dirt. There's good in there too. Like we need to learn what these bacteria are and learn to fight them. You don't hide and stay away from them. That's how you're going to end up being the boy in the bubble. No, you go out, you interact with these bacterium, and your body does what it does all day and fights them off. Now, these man-made bacterium is what you need to stay away from. Hepatitis, AIDS, all that other stuff, those are man-made. And they trick you by saying that you got them from somewhere else that you did not. No, when you're young and you boost your kid with all these shots, you have no idea what they are. They're testing on your kids, which is why they have records, so they can keep watching your kid and test their experiments. I will not subjugate my children to that. They will not be vaccinated. No thanks. It don't say nowhere in the Bible, thou shalt vaccinate thy kids. Okay. So let's see. God bacteria is okay. Man-made bacteria is not. Put a stamp on it. Trademark. That's mine. Okay. Let's see. Gardening helps boost your dopamine. Dopamine is another chemical in your brain that can be improved by gardening. Dopamine can affect your mood and various other systems within your brain and body. Do you see? Brain, body, outside. Brain, body, outside. Maybe even the house is bad. I see why Indians lived in nature, in teepees. They even have teepee. People are renting teepee houses for therapy. Like, what is nature trying to tell us? People are renting tiny homes in the middle of the woods for therapy. Connect the dots, people. Connect the dots. Okay, let's see. Okay, so again, it says this turns happy feelings and it uplifts your moods, which can help with depression. How to get started with your gardening. Now that you know the different ways gardening can help with your depression, it's time to learn the act of gardening itself. Let me see. Gardening itself. Remember, This is an activity with a lot of different options. You don't have to be an expert gardener that plants elaborate display of erotic flowers in your yard. You can start small, work your way up. There's a lot to learn, so don't hesitate to get some gardening books as well. Now I understand why the king and queen had these big ass elaborate gardens, because it's beautiful for your body. It's beautiful for your senses. All of your senses, just walking in the garden is therapeutic. It's like they know, they ain't telling you, go to every hospital, there's a garden area. Go to every, mental therapy retreat place, there's a garden area. Different garden areas have rocks where you can meditate. There's always a stream, there's fish, you can feed the fish. You can have a butterfly garden. I don't know. It's just so much more to learn about life. I just feel we are not learning the right stuff. Here are some beginner tips for getting started with gardening. Know what grows in your area. Test and prepare your soil. Choose between seeds and potted plants. It's potted for me. I'm very, very impatient. So you got to know yourself. I'm very, very impatient. It takes my avocado so long to grow. I've been forgot about them. And I look down and I see a little stem sticking out the ground. I'm like, oh, you grew. And that's the story of my life. In due time, things will happen. Just continue to do, continue to be, and they'll happen at their appointed time. I'm connecting the dots. But I would rather do potted. It's already big. It needs my help and my love. All right, let's go. But it's cool to see the seed too. It's just the time thing. Create a fertilizer and watering schedule. That was for me. Take care of your plants. No, take care of your pests. Don't forget the pests. They can really do a number on your plants and make it difficult for them to keep up with. Different types of gardening. When you're starting a brand new garden to help with your depression, you should consider which of the different types of gardening is right for you. The type that you choose on might depend on where you live, how much space you have, what your other time commitments are, and simply what interests you the most. Here's some different types of gardening to help you decide which one is best for you. Container gardening. My mom just started that. Container is best for real novice who is just getting familiar with the act of planting flowers and other plants. You can have a container garden on your patio or balcony, even if you live in an apartment, or inside your home if you have enough light. Vegetable gardening. My mom has that as well. The best part of vegetable gardening to me is it gives back. That's the ultimate love. Thank you, mommy, for growing me. Now you can eat me. You know what I mean? And it doesn't die. When we kill an animal, it's dead. It will never, ever live again. When you eat some of your plants, the plants are so smart. They have seeds. You could eat that, but put this back in the ground and I'll grow again for you. To me, if it doesn't continue, that ain't natural. Robots, they don't produce, right? So they aren't natural. Humans reproduce. It's natural. Seeds reproduce. And everything else in nature continues to live. I guess to me, that's real from fake. Fake, you have to make it again. Or evil, it doesn't live again. So when people say, oh my God, you're eating life, you're eating a plant. My darling, this tree grows into a magnificent apple tree. And it says, here, I'm going to drop something for you to eat. It's still alive. And each season, it's still going to produce more and more fruit. It gifted me nutrients to live. That's the difference between fruits and vegetables and meat. Okay, let's see. Indoor garden. She didn't do very well with that. However, I think snake plants, there's different plants that do thrive inside. But I think my mom does more with sunlight. So if my mom is a fairy, she doesn't even know it. She's a garden fairy. And she might have a little bit of sun in her because the plants are thriving more because she knows the type of water. She knows about the soil. She knows where to put them in the yard as far as the sun is concerned. A whole garden fairy. Don't even know. A water garden. I think that's called platonics. I think that would probably be good for me. Put it in the water and let it grow. Okay. The easiest plants to start with: marigolds, Cleome, Cosmos, Morning Glory, Sunflower. Oh, final words. Don't let your depression overwhelm you to the point where you feel lost and no longer participate in other activities. See a doctor to get help, but also try some home remedies like gardening. Create a healing gardener where you can let go of fear, frustration, and in gardening. Create a healing garden where you can let go of fear, frustration, and anxiety. You'll be amazed by the impact it can make in your life. Thank you, YouShouldGrow.com. That was an amazing article. Thank you for gardening. I've learned so much from watching you. The garden has been therapeutic to me. I just sit in your garden and soak up the sun. It heals some deep wounds for me. So thank you for building this oasis and sharing it with your family. So y'all know I love my Pinterest. I'll have the link below. What did I name this Pinterest? I named this one The Healing Gardening. Gardening the Wonder Drug. So 1 hour of gardening equals about 35 minutes of jogging. Hello, for people like me. And this is true because moving the plants to different sun. Like I got yesterday or the other day, I moved. Every time I eat avocado, I feel guilty and I just want to plant it. I don't think my mom's going to plant anymore. So I'm just going to have to drive around to areas that are left alone and plant them. Because if I put it like in a regular area, I know the yard men are going to come chop it away, right? So there's a park up the street. I think I'm going to start going to that park and planting these seeds so they can live and feed nature and like whoever else. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do today. I have about 4 avocado seeds in there and I'm going to go give them a nice home. But moving those pots is heavy. It's a lot of work. Like it really is. Exercise. The physical benefits of gardening: weight loss, blood circulation, flexibility, reduced bone loss, stronger immune system, vitamin D, strength, improved coordination. The psychological benefits of gardening: increased mental health for your entire brain, stress relief, improved depression. Microbacterium vaccae is a harmless bacteria found in the soil that boosts serotonin in the brain, working as an antidepressant. I'm going to do a podcast coming up with AI and robots, etc., etc., etc. Are they not slowly taking the sentient out of our being? Like, it's very scary. All these movies and TV shows are coming out. It's like, okay, I realize these aren't just movies and TV shows. They're really documentaries at this point. And it's like bacteria in the dirt helps your brain. Like, but we focus on cleanliness all the time. Like something's like a little off. And I have another podcast coming out where people hear me out. They do clean. Of course, we have hairy areas that sweat, and that sweat can have an odor, and you have to take care of yourself. But there are people that don't shave. I am in that club. But there's also people that don't, I don't want to say bathe, because they do bathe, but they aren't showering as frequently. There's a whole, and I'm in the beginning stages. Our body, our skin, the largest organ on our body, if it's left dirty for so many days, the bacteria starts to clean itself. But because we clean it all the time, we aren't giving our skin a chance to produce that bacterium that does its job. So just imagine sitting in a chair for your whole life and never getting up. You will never work those muscles that are needed to walk. So cleaning all the time, like I've never heard anybody scream this from the mountaintops. Your skin has a defense mechanism and you're not helping it along. So anyways, yes, I'm looking into that. And I'm also looking into soap. There's so many chemicals in soap that if the skin is the largest organ and defense on your body, why are we attacking it every day? Let's talk about self-love, self-care. I never see that on a self-love or self-care blog, YouTube article, or anything like that. You can't scream you love someone else and you hate yourself. And hating yourself is a form of not learning enough about yourself to care for yourself to even say that you do love yourself. It's like, the more I learn, it's just like, But yeah, those podcasts are coming up, so stay tuned. Freaking soap, skin, over-showering. It's a whole thing. And I can't wait. I have to start with me first, and I can't wait to share. The nutritional benefits of gardening. The percentage of nutrients and flavors lost in store-bought food during transport. So it goes from the garden to who knows what, however they're First of all, who knows what these people are putting in their garden? Pesticides and all this other crap. And then it has to travel overseas, miles and miles, in a truck full of radiation, in a store sitting there again being radiated until you finally put it in your refrigerator, radiate it again to eat. It's like, I know God is looking at us like, you simpletons. I didn't give you a refrigerator because you didn't need a refrigerator. You simpletons, I didn't give you a home because you don't need a home. Earth is your home. It's like, oh my God. Just drop me off in the Amazon at this point. I will be just fine. I told my sister, like, I feel like a fairy. Just put me in the middle of the woods and leave me the hell alone. I will be just fine. Okay, so let's go over these nutrients. 20% for broccoli, 45% for carrots. Like, so you're not even eating 100%. My God. And then if you cook it, it's going... So let's check this out. The broccoli goes from 100% to 20. You cook it. Is it 0? Are we not even eating at this point? Okay, broccoli, 20%. Carrots, 45%. Peas, 30%. Are these two different forms of peas? That might be string beans. String beans, 30%. Peas, 40%. Lettuce, 40%. Red pepper, 30%. Spinach, 40%. Tomatoes, 30%. It's like, oh my God. Okay. There's some articles on here. Dirt therapy, 8 reasons that you need to have a garden. Gardening as therapy, how growing vegetables improve your mental health. Gardening for mental health, 5 reasons gardening is great therapy for depression. I read that one. Healing in a garden, horticulture therapy field. There was here it is. So this lady has, Pinterest is so sensitive. Every time I touch it, it goes down. It really annoys me. Let's see. Garden. This lady put a flag in her yard that says, because gardening is cheaper than therapy, Grandma Mary's garden. And it is just the cutest thing. It's just the cutest thing. Okay, so now I want to touch on this nature-based therapy. Because I remember my boss, she was like, you need to go. However, we were talking about doctors or something like that. And I was like, let me see if I can find that quote. Doctors of nature. I think that's what it's going to be too. See, it's like I learned this stuff, but I learned deeper things about it as I live. So there's just no way to get out of this thing called life. You got to live it. You can read all day, and after you and life gonna be like, now that you're done reading the book, let's go to application school. I feel like that's what life is, application. Everything that we've learned, we done. Whoever made us forget, but then we get here and have to learn again. I wish somebody would just name them already. Let me see if I can find it in Pinterest. Let me see. The 7 doctors. Don't fail me. Of nature. Here it is. Thank you, Pinterest, for the win. The best 7 doctors: sunshine, air, exercise, water, diet, rest, and laughter. So for you go get all these prescriptions and yada, 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 how about we visit each of these doctors, and by the time you finish with 7, let's see if you even need the medicine. Because again, I feel like they're trying to make us not be sentient. Now let's look at these. Sunshine. Can we not feel sunshine? So let's match that with touch. Air. Does that not link with smell and breathing, the art of breathing? Exercise. Is that not your whole body? Water. Can that not go with taste in your mouth? Diet. That has to do with your whole body, your digestion. Rest. To reset. Just like you recharge your phone. And laughter, that might be connected with the brain and a different chemical. It's like, it's simple. We made life so complex, but it's really simple. Look at babies. Running around outside, having the time of their life. Nap time. They gotta eat. They're laughing. It's really simple. It's just like we get away from the basics. And it's like life tries to reteach us. Now you have a whole childish child is trying to reteach you. And we still miss the message. It still goes over our head. So crazy. So yeah, let me add that because I want that to be, thank you, Pinterest, of nature in my thing. Now where did it go? The 7 doctors of nature. Here it is. Let's put that in our herbal garden. If you want to know how my mind works, go look at my Pinterest. And that's just Pinterest. I have a OneNote that's longer. And then just imagine what's in my mind. Like, the life of me. Okay, so let me go back to my healing garden and see what that article was about. It's actually a book, so I don't think I'm going to let me see, visit. It comes up on Walmart. Let me see if they give a thing about it. Sensory awareness. Look at that. Nature-based therapy addresses the underlying disconnection between humans and their ecological home, eco-earth. Oh my gosh. Exploring theories and therapeutic practices undertaken with children, youth, and families. Developing sensory awareness of our outer and inner landscapes. Navigating risk in play. Case examples with a diverse range of settings, intentions, and interventions. Nature-based therapy is for counselors, therapists, youth, circle workers, educators, parents working in educational and therapeutic settings who want to take their practice beyond the office walls and into powerful terrain of the wild, partnering with nature as a co-facilitator. We need to put co on everything. Co-creator of your life. Co-facilitator with earth. Co. Like everything is supposed to go together. You and the sun together. Co-sunshine. It's just like, oh my God. Co-facilitator to create lasting change. Okay, so can we just go add that to Amazon really quick? If you love me, send me an Amazon card, okay? Because I have 600 things I need to get out of there. And it's probably all books. It's a few other things, but majority is book. If they did a pie chart of what's in my saved cart, I guess, or saved to be saved, or don't want to buy right now, most of it is books, nature-based therapy. Let me go to Amazon. So, no, I don't be wanting to do stuff. I be wanting to learn and read and learn. And I remember I used to love going to the library, love learning. And I think I traded that for like fun and laughter because I didn't realize, like, girl, you depressed. You're going through trauma. You're not addressing the issues. You just want to replace it with another feeling. And now I just feel like I'm back to myself. I'm back to my first love. And I'm so excited. And I think they want to say that it's for certain type of people. It could be for anybody. Knowledge is for everybody. So I don't think they should have put that in a category. This should be in everybody's home, okay? Why do you have to go see a therapist to learn this? You can learn it on your own. Sometimes I think they set us up for that too. You have to go get a therapist to tell you to stand in the sun. Really? Okay. It's just like how at this point, the animals are doing better than us. Well, we're supposed to be number one on the food chain. Like, what? Something has really changed in society. And I just hope that we fix it before it's too late. The Little Red Hen. Now, I remember hearing this story growing up. It's come back around full circle. The Little Red Hen is an American fable, first collected by Mary Maples Dodge in St. Nicholas magazine in 1874. The story is meant to teach children the importance of hard work and personal initiative. A hen living on a farm finds some wheat and decides to make bread with it. She asks the other farmyard animals to help her plant it, but they refuse. The hen then harvests and mills the wheat into flour before baking it into bread. At each stage, she again asks the animals for help, and they refuse. Finally, with her task complete, the hen asks who will help her eat the bread. This time, the animals accept eagerly, but the hen refuses them, stating no one helped her with her work, and decides to eat the bread herself. She then runs away with it. Background and adaptions. And this is actually Wikipedia. I don't care what they say. I love Wikipedia. The tale is based on a story Dodge's mothers often told her. Originally, the other animals besides the hen consisted of a rat, a cow, a cat, a dog, a duck, and a pig. Later adaptations often reduced the number of other animals to just 3. The story was likely intended as a literature primer for young readers, but departed from highly moralistic, often religious stories written for the same purpose. Adaptations throughout the 1800s incorporated appealing illustrators in order to hold the reader's attention, and interest became more relevant to reading lessons. Repetitive vocabulary is still used in adaptations in order to encourage learning for very early readers. A 2006 picture book adaptation by Jerry Pickney was well received for similar reasons. An animated adaptation of the story, titled The Wise Little Hen, was produced by Walt Disney Productions in 1934. Might I add, we have to go back to literature. We have to go back to the library. You have to go back to getting actual books. Digital libraries are fine, but what happens if they shut off the internet? What are you going to do? Did you at least print out the things that you have digitally? Do you have a print somewhere? I hope that if people start bombing and stuff, like, why aren't the libraries like bomb proof? Like, you really just want all this knowledge to be burnt down. Do you know, like, back in time when they would go to war, they would like to burn the knowledge so they can start over and, you know, plant their own history. Whatever, that was just like a thought. I was going somewhere with that. Walt Disney has become probably a multi-trillionaire at this point, because they don't really give us numbers. Me and my cousin was talking. Man, let me see if I can find that text. Wait just 1 second. I'm going to come right back to that. Wait just 1 second. We just be talking about everything. I love it. It just be, I don't know. I love it. I love it there. I just love it there. It's knowledge. It's never, you know, it's always knowledge. Just put it that way. I like intellectual conversations. Spirituality. That's where I'm at right now. So, a million, a billion, a trillion, a quadrillion, a quintillion, a sextillion, a septillion. Do you see we're going into freaking months? An octillion, a nonillion, a decillion, a unidecillion, a dodecillion, a trillion, a quadrillion, a quintillion. Like, really? Okay, let me just see. At 20 is vigitillion, which is 63 times. So while we up here talking about I'm be a millionaire, billionaire, okay, the reasons they can rule worlds the way that they do is because that money is so long. It ain't going nowhere. But Walt Disney has made so much money off of knowledge. They go get, like my niece told me, all the Disney princes come from, there's real stories behind them. And some of them are dark and they turn them into something else and boom. Like that wasn't even the truth. So is that how they write history? You painted this picture on the left. does not correlate with the real picture on the right. So again, you got to question everything, research, and see what resonates with you. Because your body, your intuition is like a lie detector. That's what they don't want to be teaching us too. Like, when you hear something, you already know if it's true or not. The question is, are you listening to your body respond to what your ears have just heard? Because the moment they want to talk about mass this and shot this, no. My body said no. And if God made this body, I can listen to it. It's God made. It's God ordained. And my body has been helping me live for this long. Why would I not listen to it? So anyways, that just kind of triggered me. So the Walt Disney Productions in 1934 is not notable for the first appearance of Donald Duck as one of the lazy animals who refuses to help the hen. Political theme revisions of the story included a conservative version based on the 1976 monologue from Ronald Reagan. Are you kidding me? They're going to make it presidential. This version features a farmer who claims that the hen is being unfair by refusing to share the bread and forces her to do so. Does that sound familiar? We don't want to pay taxes, but we're being forced to do it, right? Removing the hen's incentive to work and causing poverty to befall the farm. So really, another version talks about capitalism, the hen promising the animals slices of bread if they make it, but keeping the largest slice for herself despite not doing any of the work. Sounds like government, right? A version of Mavelina Reynolds adapts the story into a pro-work socialist anthem as the hen retains the fruits of her labor, saying, and that's why they called her Red. An episode of the animated series Super Why features a revision of the story. In the episode, the super readers change the ending so that the hen tells the animal why she needs their help, and they listen, enabling them to help her finish the cornbread so that she shares it with them. So kudos to Super Why. Really turned that whole thing around. Now that was the best, to me, adaptation to the story. So before I tell you no, let me give you a chance. Isn't that beautiful? Let me give you a chance to learn why you should help, to actually help me, and then benefit from helping me. And everybody wins in the end. Go Super Why. They also said The Ant and the Grasshopper, which is an Aesop fable, is similar. And I looked at Aesop. My parents, man, they did a great job. My mama killed this thing. We used to watch Aesop fables. And now I'm being pulled to go back and watch a lot of this. Like, I literally just watched the Arthur episode about all of them being adults. And I just had the biggest joy, heart, smile. I don't know what to call it from watching the freaking cartoon. And I remember T-Pain was on 95 South, and he was explaining how he met Michael Jackson, and the first thing he did when he came to sit down was ask him, do he watch cartoons or what cartoons he want to watch? And T-Pain was like, So to me, Michael Jackson, even though he was a child prodigy, by being thrown into adulthood as a child, I know he probably wasn't able to grow adult, but maybe that was best because he kept his creativity. He was able to make all this music, and music is healing, by the way. Again, they don't want to tell us that. And I feel like he was assassinated. I don't care what anyone says. There's another young artist that was telling everybody about frequency, and he was assassinated too. I don't know his name. I don't want to mix him up with all these, because a lot of the music that's coming out is really no good. Like, I'm almost afraid to be a parent, because if I try to explain these things to my kid, will they understand? Will they listen? I don't know. It's kind of scary, but I'm just gonna have to do the best that I can do with what was given, which is what all parents do, right? So yeah, I just wanted to share that because I remember growing up hearing The Little Hen. This is an episode about gardening. I thought they related, and hopefully there was some little seeds that you guys are to pick up out of that. And that concludes today's episode. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed and were able to take something away from the episode. Like we usually say as we're wrapping it up, it's 7.9 billion people in the world, yet you met me, not by happen chance. It's a divine meeting. May we guide each other well. Keep learning, evolving, and spreading love. And I hope you see the fruits of your labor. Namaste, love a stay, and always vibe high, babe. Catch you on the next one. Thanks a million for listening. There's a million podcasts in the world. You clicked on this one, this one, to hear what I have to say. I hope the universe has a special message for you. You can reach me on Linktree at /love.meesh. I hope you have a better than great day. Love ya. Talk to you later. Bye.
You all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words. And yet, I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction. And all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?